Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm hoping to give you a comprehensive overview of the accusative prepositions in German. Please note that I'll also be making a video on the dative and genitive prepositions. To start off, let's quickly look at how the accusative prepositions affect articles in German. Here you'll see that the masculine article der changes to den in the accusative case. The feminine article die, the neutral article das, and the plural article die do not change. For this reason, the accusative case is a little easier to learn than the dative and genitive cases. As in my previous videos, I have marked masculine words in blue, and because the accusative case changes only the masculine article der, I have chosen here to use the blue color throughout this video to make the connection a little bit easier for you. I have previously uploaded a video explaining the accusative case and how it is formed. I mentioned before that the accusative case is not just formed by verbs, however it is also formed by accusative prepositions. This video goes into specific details about the accusative prepositions and should help round out your understanding of the accusative case in German. So on screen here I've got a list of the accusative prepositions. If we go down through them, first we have bis, which means until. Then we have durch, which means through. Then we have entlang, which means along. Then we have für, which means for. Gegen, against or around. Ohne, without. Per, which means per or by. Pro or je, kind of concluded these together to mean per. Around, about, at. Wieder, against or contrary to. So you'll notice here on screen that I've got more prepositions than you would normally find in your average textbook or even online. I really wanted to give you like everything that I could find and put it all together in one video. So first let me touch on the asterisks behind entlang. Entlang is often used in the accusative case if it's put after a noun. But there are also cases where entlang produces the dative case or will be used with the dative case, and there are even cases where entlang kind of shows up as a genitive preposition. So I think most commonly it's seen as an accusative preposition, but just know if you see it in other places that sometimes it is used as a preposition that isn't an accusative preposition. So on the screen now you'll see the preposition bis and all of its meanings and some example sentences and the translations. I've done this with each of the prepositions that we saw on the list just now. So if you want to look at a specific preposition, just skip ahead in the video. So bis here has got several different meanings which we'll talk through. First, until a certain time. So the first example is here, bis nächste Woche or bis in einem Jahr mean until next week or till next year. You'll see that I've underlined two words in that first example. Where I've underlined words is where the preposition should be used in combination with another preposition or another word to create the meaning. Next up, bis can also be used to explain until a place. So the example here, der Zug fährt bis Köln. And the translation of that would be, the train goes until Cologne. Bis can also be used to express except for. Alle sind schon da, bis auf Klaus. And that would mean everyone is already there except for Klaus. And then finally, bis can be used to explain up to. Man kann bis zu 1000 Euro gewinnen. And that translates to, you can win up to 1000 euro. Next up, we've got durch. Durch really just means through. I don't know if this is being too pedantic, but I've split it out into physically and figuratively because sometimes people will have a question as to, okay, it means through physically, but does it mean through in other instances also? And the answer to that is yes. So in the first example that we have here, ich bin durch den Park gegangen. I went through the park. And the second example, which isn't really a physical example, also means through. Ich habe ihn durch Zufall kennengelernt. And that means in English, I met him by chance. Okay, so now on screen, für. I've split this out into the different ways we can use for in English. Für is pretty much a one-to-one translation for the English word for. So for, für, you shouldn't be too confused as to how you use it in German if you're pretty confident in English. The first example, wir fahren für eine Woche nach Spanien. We are going to Spain for a week. Next up, mach das bitte für deinen Bruder. Please do that for your brother. Ich verkaufe es dir für 10 Euro. I will sell it to you for 10 euro. Okay, next up, gegen. So gegen can mean either against, towards, or versus. Similar to the previous examples, it's against both physically and figuratively. So, first example, ich bin gegen die Mauer gelaufen. I ran into the wall. Er ist gegen Drogen. He is against drugs. Then towards, gegen Ende waren wir müde. Towards the end, we were tired. And then versus. England spielt gegen Frankreich. England is playing against France. Next up is Ohne. Again, Ohne is really quite simple. It means without, pretty much the exact same way that we say without in English. Sie ist ohne ihren Bruder gegangen. She went without her brother. Wir haben unsere Aufgaben ohne Widerrede ausgeführt. We did our tasks without argument. Okay, next up I've got je. And after je is per and pro. And these prepositions are quite overlapping. So I've kind of put them one after another so you can see how they are kind of related. So je is a bit of a funny word and preposition in German. It can mean per, each, or even ever, and is also used commonly in this last construction that I have on screen. So the first example, der Ölpreis je Barrel erreichte in diesem Monat einen Höchststand. The oil price per barrel reached a high this month. Next up, ich gab den Kindern je ein Blatt Papier. I gave the children a sheet of paper each. Next up, ever. The third example sentence here. Er ist mehr denn je davon überzeugt. He is more convinced of it than ever. And finally, this construction. Je is often used with a word desto to mean, like how we would construct in English, the sooner the better. In German that would be je schneller, desto besser. Then we have the preposition per. So like je can mean per person. For example, in German there's also the German word per, which means by, or how we use per in English. So if you want to say I will send it by post, in German you would say ich schicke es per Post. And then, you know, the way we say revolutions per minute. In German you can say Drehzahl per Minute, or more common probably Drehzahl pro Minute. And then to add another one to it, the next preposition pro means in English per, so also quite familiar to the last two that we've done. And the examples here that I have is Die Firma bezahlt 10 Euro pro Mahlzeit. The company pays 10 euro per meal. And the second meaning of pro is very much how we use it in English, to be for or pro something. And the example that I have here is Ich bin pro Meinungsfreiheit. And then the translation here, I am for or I am pro freedom of opinion. Okay, next up is And can mean around, about, or at. The first example, ich bin die Ecke gefahren. I drove around the corner. About, ich habe ihn die 20 Euro gegeben. I gave him about 20 euro. And then the last sentence, at, ich stehe 5 auf. I get up at 5. Okay, and finally we're on to our last preposition here, wieder, which means against or contrary to. Ich musste wider Willen lachen. In English you would probably say, I had to laugh, but literally translated it would be something like against my will I had to laugh. And then the final example here for contrary to. Wider erwarten bestand sie das Abitur. Contrary to expectations, she passed the Abitur. So that is it for this video. We covered an awful lot, went through it quite quickly as well, but it's there for your reference if you ever want to come back and take a closer look at some of the prepositions in the accusative case in German. I hope you enjoy the video. If you did, please like, share, and most importantly subscribe for upcoming videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bis zum nächsten Mal.